Hi guys, welcome to EduTap friends. So friends, generally we all know, being a RBI Grade B aspirant, we all know very well about the preparation, about the pattern, about the strategy of this examination, the sources what we need to refer for this examination. But still after that, we do not get motivation to prepare for the examination, to prepare for sustainable, right, on a sustainable basis. So these all are the areas which we generally suffer. So guys, that is why we have brought for you this special session where we will be seeing how an RBI officer generally feels when he gets into the RBI. Generally, what is the work culture? We are going to see the different aspects, like for example, the life of an RBI officer, the opportunities with respect to the foreign posting, the educational, the further, you can say the higher education opportunities, right? Foreign posting opportunities, what is the work culture at the RBI? These all are the different areas that we will be covering in this session, guys, right? And also at the end, what we will be seeing, we will be looking with respect to the areas that you need to work on with respect to the interview and what boards look for with respect to the interview in any candidate. So guys, welcome to EduTap again. So we have with us a special guest, that is Sathyan David sir. He has been a part of RBI and also he has been a part of RBI interview board twice for the recruitment of RBI Grade B manager. So welcome to EduTap sir.
Thank you, Prakash, and good afternoon to all the participants.
Yeah. Right. So guys, this session is mostly dedicated to be like how you feel when you get into the RBI, right? So if you have any doubt with respect to pattern, with respect to strategy, with respect to sources, guys, you can mail us on hello@edutap.co.in. We will separately address your query. Here, if you have query with respect to the how you feel, what are the areas that you will do being an RBI officer. So these all are the areas that we are going to cover, right? So you can ask the query with respect to that, and all your queries will be taken at the end of this session. So you can enjoy this session till then, and whatever queries you will have, we will definitely take those queries, right? So sir, start with our very first thing, the very basic thing that I would like to ask from the on behalf of aspirant, that what is the role of RBI Grade B manager when he gets into the RBI? So what is the basic role that he needs to perform?
RBI Grade B manager is actually the second level at the officer stage. So Grade A is the preliminary level, Grade B is the second level. So normally the feeder for Grade A is from the clerical cadre. So those who join in the clerical cadre can appear for an exam after 3 or 4 years and then get into Grade A. Whereas Grade B, you have a jump of one level straight away. You gain a matter of some 4 to 6 years in terms of seniority. So earlier, of course, there were a lot of a big complement of staff available to you. There'll be clerical staff and several Grade A officers under you. But now, with computerization and every resource, all the information, data, and past references, circulars being available online at the say click of a mouse or a click of a keyboard. So the necessity for such a large complement of clerical staff has been done away with. So there are now the roles of the Grade B vary differently from different departments and from regional office to central office. So I can tell you, starting from central office, if you come to a central office department at Bombay, it's the policy making department. So there, in many cases, a Grade B might be the starting level. You might not have Grade A's under you at all once you join. So it is straight away starting initiating cases because the number of levels at central office is low. So you have Grade A or Grade B, that's the manager level, going right up to Grade F, which is the Chief General Manager level. Above them is a top management, as we call it. It is the starting from executive director, then the deputy governor, and very few cases actually go to the governor. So most of the cases are settled many cases at the CGM level, and almost everything at the executive director level, and a few more requiring large scale, high level policy reactions or decisions, or having a large impact, or cases which will need some coordination with the government, will go to the deputy governor. So your Grade B level, you will have to originate or initiate the cases. Many instances that the central office level, you can take a lot of initiative. So any policy or level changes or any introduction of new policies, a grade B can envisage for himself, prepare a suitable case with past references and references to other international best practices, and submit upward for approval, or which could go up through the usual grid of officers and get decided on. So at the regional office levels and at different departments, starting with this, a core function, the regional office is currency management, where all currency comes in from the note presses. So these are sorted, counted, and reclassified, repacked, and then these have to be sent over to the other currency chests or the branches of banks from which public has access to the currency. So this is one area, a lot of it is largely computerized, but a high level of security and monitoring is to be ensured. And different levels of currency management is done by different levels of grade B, who has ultimate responsibility for huge volumes of currency, which is moving up and down the country. And again, there's a level of hierarchy there, which goes up, but the higher levels, mainly the DGM and the GM level, are more for coordination and seeing that currency is being distributed at the pressure centers and currency is being absorbed wherever pileup is there of old currency. So that is more managerial and more of, say, supply chain management type of a job involved. Then there are the accounting departments. RBI, so many of you might have already started preparing, is the banker to the government and banker to banks. So this involves a lot of accounting work, and RBI has its own version of a core banking system. So all these transactions have to be accounted for, balanced, and the final balance is transferred to what is known as central account section in Nagpur. And even the currency accounts is a separate set of accounts maintained in the Department of Currency Management. So apart from this, you have other specialized departments in the regional office. Rural planning is a large function there, where an RBI officer at the grade B level represents at every district. They have a district levels bankers committee, DLCC. So there, the RBI grade B is a senior member of the committee and has to coordinate the meetings, attend meetings on a monthly basis, and see that the developmental imperatives and financial inclusion and financial education imperatives of RBI and the government are being conducted by the banks at the base level, ground level, spread out throughout the length and breadth of the company. Then you have Department of Supervision, which is concerned with inspection of banks in the particular state, within the state and jurisdiction. So normally at grade B level, you'll be leading the teams for smaller offices of banks, and larger or the central office or the head office, corporate office of the bank team will normally be headed by the GM concerned. So there'll be a large team consisting of the GM and AGM and 3 to 4 grade Bs. So each member will be having a specific portfolio allotted. Now, say accounting of the bank, control systems of the bank, and say credit, which is an important area, treasury management. So these aspects have to be seen by the grade B. And so notes and findings submitted upward to the principal inspecting officer or the senior supervisory manager, as it's called now. So who will consolidate all the reports and compile them into the form of a report. So these in broad will be the general work areas of a grade B officer at regional office and central office.
Right. So guys, sir has told in detail what are the areas where RBI grade B manager has to work, right? So sir has told in detailed. So sir, another question is what are the growth and learning opportunities there in the RBI if I get selected being an RBI officer? So what are the areas from where I can grow? What are the learning opportunities available there?
Yeah, now the learning opportunities, growth opportunities, RBI, we call it a learning organization, and it's a policy-making institution. And so, and with the financial sector growing in leaps and bounds and complexities, range of activities increasing, and which casts us a risk on the entire system and general public, the interests of depositors, financial stability, the economy as a whole, everything is involved, everything is impacted by decisions and actions taken in the RBI. So an RBI officer has to be very well qualified, very knowledgeable, well trained, so to be able to effectively discharge these duties involved. So when you join as a grade B officer, you join, and the RBI has an in-house training college called the Reserve Bank Staff College at Chennai. Which is very well equipped, got a very nice campus, very green campus, and excellently equipped classrooms, and excellent library, and very nice hostels. So you are inducted into the RBI. It's called an induction program. There are several stages for those. So beginning, you start with almost the tenure, the duration keeps changing. So normally you can have an average of 2 months or 2.5 months at the staff college, where there were different officials from the faculty member at the staff college, and also senior officers or CGMs, executive directors, top management, even deputy governors from central office come and give you talks on the role and of RBI. They give specialized training on each of the departments, what are the roles and functions of RBI, and general tips and guidance on how you go about your jobs in general. So part of the training you also sent to a management school locally who train you in, because RBI is the entry is broad-based. Anyone with a qualification in any subject can join, and you have to be trained and specialized in financial aspects, which everyone will not be knowing. So they give you specific training in a local reputed management school on, say, financial management, working capital management, treasury management, foreign exchange, and all aspects of finance, both the local and banking and economics, both local Indian economics and global economics. So these are then you come back to your posting, places of posting. You work on the job for some 6 months, then you go back for a refresher program. So there are some 2 or even 3 stages of training involved over 2 years of your probation period.
Okay, so sir has told multiple areas where you can grow and where you can learn a lot of things being a RBI grade B officer, right? So sir, one thing I would like to know, that being a RBI aspirant, right, being a RBI grade B aspirant, a lot of aspirant, good chunk of aspirants do prepare for this examination, like aspirants from IIT, from IIM. So if I talk about peer group at RBI, so what kind of peer group being an RBI grade B officer I can get when I gets into the RBI?
Okay, so before that, I'll just expand a little bit on what I earlier topic also. Apart from the initial induction training, there are periodic and continuous, RBI has a continuous training process. So once a year, you get eligible for training, and you get, apart from after induction training, there are a number of specialized trainings held at staff college. So every year you get an opportunity to go back to staff college for a shorter capsule course of 1 to 2 weeks. And RBI also sends you to trainings both in India and abroad, even at grade B level itself. So these are some aspects I thought I'll elaborate. Then the next question you asked was, what was it, Prakash?
Yeah, it's a peer group, sir. Peer group in RBI.
Peer group in RBI, yeah.
Yes, sir.
The peer group is very diverse and comes from all, say, sections of society, as you say. But so, and during the training process and during your career progression, so there's a continuous, the continuous opportunities for self-improvement. Say in my batch itself, when I joined in 1984, there were different people. The people had come from JNU, there were some from IIT, as you said, there were some from IIM, or any other big reputed institutes in the country. There were several from smaller local colleges. Many of my batchmates had not even studied in English medium, but studied in vernacular. But then the peer group and the process of continuous training, upgradation, interaction with other colleagues, both in your same batch and in other batches, is sort of the culture has developed over so many years that there's a constant improvement, and people are always ready to help and say bring you up, even if you slip up a bit here or there, and nobody actually really criticizes or looks down at you if you do not know English or you do not know the language very well. As long as you apply yourself and they see that there's a continuous process of improvement going on. So everyone develops, and throughout your career, both your knowledge, your personal deportment, behavior, and ability, confidence levels, ability to interact with others. Many people join without being naturally a bit shy or not slightly socially awkward. But all these skills, both knowledge skills and social skills, develop over the years. When most people, everyone develops and improves over the years. And the peer group is also always helpful, both the immediate peer group and the seniors and others who are there with you in the departments and in the other offices.
Right, sir. So sir has told that you will get diverse peer group, right? So that you can learn a lot of good things. Like there are a lot of culture that are prevailing in India. You will learn cultural differences and also what is unique in different cultures. So you will, along with the cultural thing, you will learn a lot of things from your peer itself. So sir, continuing on that, if I say that you have already told that there are multiple growth opportunities, there are multiple learning opportunities in the RBI, being RBI Grade B officer. So what is the satisfaction level of an RBI Grade B manager? Though it is very subjective, but still, what is the satisfaction level to be an RBI officer?
So the work culture, job culture in RBI is such that, see, RBI, most of you would have seen the RBI buildings. They are rather remote and very challenging buildings. So it looks like huge, say, forts with the national flag and armed guards outside. So normally nobody will. It's all sort of seems to be all walled off and sealed off, and not easy access, not easy approach. And another aspect of the RBI is that you are in the department and you have full housing is given to all in RBI colonies in whichever city you are posted. So you live within the same society, and the quality of RBI officer, the ethics and honesty levels, I would like to say, are rather high, are extremely high. You're not influenced or subject. You see, all the conveniences are made available to you. There's no problem for housing, and even when you for children in all the centers, RBI has given some funds to large funds to several schools, kept donations to several schools, so that there's a committed quota of admissions available for children. So when you go on transfers, one major problem with transfers is availability of housing and availability of admissions in a good school for children. Both of these are taken care of. Then apart from that, even transfer facilities and other conveyance facilities, petrol allowance, ready availability of loans at very cheap interest rates for buying of a two-wheeler or a car is quite liberal. So since all facilities are made available to you, the normal problem comes up in the different services where you are making decisions on behalf of several others who may be affected. There's a bit of a temptation to, say, bend rules or favor someone for some gratification. But since all these other requirements are taken care of, you don't have much of a temptation for any other gratification. And also the culture built up in RBI throughout, even outside, you say that RBI never succumbs to use up rules or bends rules for the favoritism or favoring anyone particularly. So this levels plus the good facilities made available and perks made available to you. And earlier when we joined and for several years, many of the perks were quite meager, and even the monetary compensation was not too high. But now the compensations are best in industry. So the levels of satisfaction that you get is extremely high. And the work quality, professionalism is a hallmark of RBI. You will see that when you, let's say a bank or a case comes up with you saying this bank has done there's been a problem in a bank, the inspections come up, or there's been some reporting of a fraud in a bank or some particular practice in a bank which is not in the interest of a good, well-run bank. So then when you have to analyze this information and put it up for to your superiors for taking a decision, you will find that they'll go through everything. They expect a very professional note to be made. Primarily, you'll have to see that it is in terms of, you have to be aware of all the instructions. There are detailed manuals available. There are instructions which have come down and updated and improved through ages. You'll have to substantiate any suggestion or new idea that you give with past precedent and on the basis of certain instructions. And you have to, so even if the instruction is rather new or based on earlier instructions and developments in the market, you're proposing something new, your entire logic has to be very clearly argued and substantiated. And till the logic is very clearly substantiated, your higher-ups will keep sending it back to you with suggestions on how to improve it. So this is as a constant skilling level going on and a constant improvement goes on. So the levels of professionalism and the approach to work is of a very high quality. So that all this gives you a high level of satisfaction in doing your job. And the levels of, say, interference from outside is also minimal. Since I told you RBI is more or less sealed out because of, say, you're in separate housing, you're in a separate office building, and then the requirement to interact with the outside for any other work is quite limited. So the levels of honesty, ethical uprightness is very high in RBI.
Right. So guys, if you get selected as an RBI Grade B officer, so RBI takes care every aspect of your life very well, so that satisfaction level is already very high. So as sir has told. So sir, if I talk about social image of RBI officer, right? If I get selected as an IAS or IPS, so definitely my social image is very high. So what is with respect to the RBI officer? What is the social image of RBI officer?
The social image of RBI officer also quite high. Actually, RBI I feel has more of a social image than an IAS and IPS officer. They respect because it has a lot of power.
Right.
So the RBI officer image outside is always that this is a person of very high caliber intelligence who has to be very analytical, has to know the entire financial market, has to be an expert in economics, and very upright and persons who do not get swayed easily by outside pressures. So that way the social image is quite high, and immediately you say if you're traveling either train or air or anything, once you say you're RBI, guys will start asking you questions on anything under the sun, anything connected with economics or finance, whether it pertains to your subject, whether it is concerns with India or concerns related to something which is happening internationally. They'll expect a person to know quite well. So that way, again, the RBI officer has to be up to date, reading newspapers and journals, so that he's able to answer questions and live up to the image of RBI. Another thing RBI does is they reimburse you costs of newspapers, financial and general newspaper, and also for upskilling yourself, for continuous training. There are several other courses like Certified Financial Accountant, CFA, there's a course for FRM. So these courses, if you enroll in, the RBI will reimburse the fees once you pass the exams. And you also have opportunities, say you can take a sabbatical for 1 year. You can enroll in some course outside, say you can enroll in an MBA outside for a year. You can drop out of RBI, they'll give you your full salary, perks and quarters. And you can go attend classes, finish your MBA and come back. This is a sabbatical of 1 year. If you want to take more than 1 year, they give you leave on 3/4 of salary. And there are also constant trainings abroad and seminars abroad, which they conduct. So that way, the knowledge levels are high, and you can also stand up to people, the best in society. And you also become a more analytical, have a better perspective of things. Then people in the private sector who are working in these private banks, each of them has a sort of a narrow approach to what is being done. And RBI has a sort of overall approach and a broad perspective, and you know that the implications of any particular decision, it could have implications, could have several ramifications.
Right. So guys, if we talk about social limits, so sir has already told you that you being having knowledge from the different perspective, like for finance, economics, you will definitely have a great social image if I compare with the civil servants itself, right? So sir, if I talk about work culture, so being human, we need a work environment which is good and which is definitely be encouraging. So what is the work culture at RBI? Is it a bureaucratic or startup work culture?
See, you won't have a startup work culture. RBI is a policy institution. So necessarily it will, any policy that is undertaken by RBI, so you suddenly liberalize some policy, there will be some unknown effects, which implications which take place. The impacts are quite high. So any policy has to be seen in great detail before it is implemented or before it is changed. But at the same time, it is not bureaucratic in as much as that you initiate some new ideas, new policy, that it doesn't go in a sort of bureaucratic fashion where people raise questions just for the sake of raising questions. What you can do is have a new idea, you can formulate something in your, lay down something, then you can discuss with your superiors, who will again give you other ideas, who can give you certain other what implications could happen, or whether it has been tried in the past and failed, or if current circumstances warrant such a requirement, how you can improve the past process which was implemented. And they give you ideas you can put in place. And what I have seen is, even especially at central office level or even at regional offices, if a person is bright and has good ideas and is able to do his job well, even at the senior levels, they'll directly call a CGM or a GM, may directly call a manager if he finds the note submitted is of quite a high quality, but he wants to discuss it further and propose some changes, improvements, or amendments. So it moves across levels. It's not that every process moves through different levels without much of interaction. So it can cut levels. They'll discuss directly with you, then discuss with your immediate superiors also, and suggest how to go about things. So it is not startup culture, because the startup culture has its own risk. Now, an RBI cannot afford to fail in anything it does, because the failure affects some millions of ordinary people whose livelihoods may be affected. So that has to be kept in mind. Startups take decisions. One day they do something, they spend too much, then next year they suddenly lay off 50% or 75% of the staff. And in India, see, there's no social security net available. A person loses a job, it is a big hit for him, both from an impact in terms of immediate financial sustenance for him, and impact in terms of, say, his family, his immediate society members. Everyone comes to know it is a big matter of shame. So many people, they don't do well in exams, so poor people, students commit suicide now. So abroad, it's an okay thing. People lose jobs, they get jobs, and they're all quite well off. Their social security net. Nothing happens if someone loses a job and stays away for 3 or 4 months. They have a large net or safety net available, and the social implications are nothing much, because layoffs and rehiring keeps taking place. But here, the whole society and his own sustenance, it's a very grievous hit. So with the RBI decisions being of having a large impact, it will necessarily have to go through several stages and several approvals, and a lot of thought process has to be involved before a decision is taken.
Right. So as sir has told that if I talk about work culture, so it is not completely startup and not it is completely bureaucratic, right? So it is in between, which is very, very important as an apex institution of any country, right? Sir, if I talk about residential facilities which are being provided by the RBI, so residence is definitely a motivational factor. So what kind of residence is provided by the RBI to the newly recruited RBI Grade B managers?
See, in all centers apart from Bombay, you get very good residential facilities, very nice large flats. Grade B, grade Bs and are considered at senior level. So normally there are two types of quarters available, A type and B type. So A being the higher type. So grade A's get very good, grade Bs get very good flats in all the centers. Say, because in Delhi you get quarters in Vasant Vihar area. Chennai, right in the center of the town, you get both in Annanagar and in Kilpauk. In say Calcutta, you get a large number of quarters in Alipur area itself, which is a very posh area. And again, smaller centers is not a problem at all. You get very good quarters. So, and Bombay earlier was a problem, but now Bombay have several quarters from Goregaon stretching right up to the center of town. So normally most grade Bs who come immediately you're given, there's a large complex in Chembur, which is a sort of a gated community, a very nice flat, gym, swimming pool. So you get those quarters immediately, or there's another gated community in, say, I think in Kandivali, which you get. Then you also have the option of self-leasing, which is you get quite a high rent, up to I think 80 or 90,000 per month if you can lease a flat by yourself. And smaller flats for this within this rent limit available even within nearby within the city, say Bandra, or very smaller flats in Colaba also, or in say Wadala or Central Bombay, Lower Parel areas. And other quarters, you have very nice quarters and a very good campus with a very good school nearby in Goregaon, especially for grade Bs. Then the grade B quarters stretch from there, a very good complex in Prabhadevi. And then there's a nice complex in Santa Cruz. So quarters you get very good, much better than even what government officials get.
So guys, sir has already told you the address also where these quarters are available and where what kind of facilities are provided by the RBI to its managers, right? So, sir, if I'm saying the what kind of offices are there in the RBI?
See, RBI offices have all been renovated and refurbished. So you will get those cubicles at grade B level, those partitioned, what you call open office systems. So in regional offices from the level of DGM onwards, you get a cabin. Some AGMs at senior level, some particular departments have. But otherwise, it's open office system. So you have cubicles and another facility, the IT facilities are very good. So everyone has a terminal and then you have shared printers. And then there are large numbers of officers also have a large number of laptops. So most grade Bs who can establish a need for working at home or who are going on tour, all officers who go on tour, people who go on inspections, they are given a laptop from the office. And even the mobile facilities, most grade Bs get and are reimbursed quite a large number of calls also per month. Some ceiling is there. So office facilities are of high quality. You have very good office facilities.
Right. And sir, if I talk about salary and allowances, which is a very motivating factor in any job, either it can be private or government sector. So what is the salary allowances, perks or incentives are provided to the RBI grade B manager?
Salary levels at now I don't remember, but CTC I remember seeing in the last advertisement was very high. So apart from that, see you get say I think starting first few levels you get a petrol allowance for two-wheeler, or then you buy I think in the after confirmation or within 2 or 4 years or 5 years you're eligible for petrol for a car also. Then another seat you might become eligible for a car loan later on, but after 7 or 8 years. But before that, there's a staff society in RBI, officer society. So officer society also gives you a loan supplement to your own fund. You can go in for a car quite early, but you will get petrol allowance for a scooter. And see, the housing is provided, which is a major expense. Then on official travel hotels, RBI has arrangements with all the branded 5-star hotels. So when you go on official travel, all these 5-star hotels, Star Group or Oberoi Group, Trident Group, they have arrangements. They'll give you 5-star rooms with breakfast, and many of them also have dinner facilities. So that will be available. Plus, you get almost 2,000 or so as allowance per day. Then transfer allowances are very good. The entire transportation charges are borne. Then you get a cash allowance of some 2 or 3 months of salary for your other miscellaneous expenses, which you really can't produce bills for, because every transfer entails some stuff getting damaged or some stuff that you have to leave behind and buy again at the new house for fresh furnishings and refurbishing. Plus, you get what is known as a furniture allowance. Once in 4 years, quite a substantial sum is given for furnishing. Then you get consumer loans, very substantial. You can buy all consumer gadgets, TVs or washing machines. So what I'm not up to date with the numbers concerned. Plus, there's a very good, now they recently increased the housing loan limit like anything. I think you get some 2 crores or something as a housing loan. So you get a 1 crore or 1.5 crores as housing loan. So earlier, since repayment was a problem, so the housing loan amount used to be pitched at a lower level. But now they allow you repayments up to even beyond retirement. So you can continue repaying it till the age of 65 or 70. So the housing loan has been increased substantially, considering everyone outside in the market is complaining about EMIs going up because of increasing interest rates. So RBI housing loan is at a very low interest rate, very easy terms, and they also you can also fix your EMIs in consultation with them, so that early years your salary earnings will be lower. You can see how much you can afford and tell them that I'll please fix the EMIs at so and so for the first 5 years, after which you can start increasing. Then since now if you join at the age of 25 or so, you have a substantial service ahead of you till the age of 60. So your Provident Fund or other retirement gratuity benefits will keep increasing and multiplying. So finally, when you retire, there'll be a large corpus available, out of which you can even sort of pay back part of your housing loan. Then every 5 years, there's a salary settlement. Salaries get revised every 5 years. So every 5 years, there's normally a jump of around 25%. So normally this revision process, the bargaining between the Officers Association and the administration goes on for a period of a year or 1.5 years or 2 years also. So it is not that you lose the money for those 2 years. The salary settlement is refixed from the date it is due on, so that 18 months or 20 months, you'll get entire arrears. You get a large lump sum for that, which you can again use to buy some large item, or you can use to retire some lump sum loans so that your interest outgo goes down.
Right. So guys, you can see that salary is already very high, but along with salary, there are multiple allowances that are being provided to a RBI officer, as sir has already mentioned. Right. So sir, one very common doubt in the minds of the aspirant, that do RBI officer get official car? This is a very basic question. Yeah.
No, you don't get an official car. From the time you are GM, the bank gives you a car. They'll buy you a sedan worth around 12 to, normally you'll get something at the level of a Honda City, an equivalent car costing an equivalent amount. You can choose your car, they'll give it to you, and then after 3 years, you can replace it after 5 years, I think. They'll give you a new car. So then at the time of retirement, you can take the car with you at a depreciated value. You have to pay back the depreciated value. So if you plan well, so at the time of retirement, say 2 years before retirement, you plan it so that you get a new car. Then that you can take after 2 years depreciation, they will charge you for whatever is left over. You can pay that amount and take the car along with you.
Right.
And again, at the time of retirement, from the GM level onwards, you're given a PC at home also, maybe DGM or GM level. So at the time of retirement, PC, laptop, they give you an iPad, nice, smart, high value smartphone. So these items at the time of retirement, you can take at depreciated value.
Right. So yes, guys, you do not get official car, but yes, at certain level you will start getting that, right? Sir, if I talk about posting, so posting is very, very important for few aspirants due to their multiple factors are there. So do we have, being a RBI grade B officer, do we have choice to get posting?
So normally, see, like postings, you don't have much of a choice. So it's an all India service. So we are ready to travel wherever you want. So first posting normally will be outside your center. So first you get a Bombay posting, means it's of a longer tenure. It might be 8 years or 7 to 8 years or even 10 years if you want to stick on. Other centers, the normal tenure is around 4 years. But then again, you have genuine problem. They try to see that if you're married, now most people, both the husband and wife are working. They'll try to accommodate if a person's husband, spouse is working in a certain place, say to start with, they might accommodate in the same center. Then you have to get prepared for transfers. So problem comes up with if one of the partners is non-transferable and the other partners in RBI. So then you have to try to adjust your jobs or postings suitably. So that is one issue.
Right.
So transfers are a matter of way of life in RBI.
Yeah.
But then it gives you a good feeling perspective of the entire country. And since they take care of most of the other hassles associated with transfers, so it doesn't, every time you get a transfer, everyone in the family is a bit upset, but then everyone gets settled down and start liking the new center once you're there and settle down there.
Right, sir. Sir, one more question associated with posting itself, that does RBI provide foreign postings also?
So there are no foreign offices of RBI. You don't get foreign postings. But then there are a number of foreign trainings available. You are sent to seminars or trainings at different central banks across the world. Then most people might have heard of the Bank for International Settlements, which is the BIS. It is a sort of association of all the central banks of the world. So they have different committees and different training programs. People keep going there. Then the BIS also, BIS basically is staffed by officials of its member central banks. So every now and then they advertise, they request for candidates fulfilling a certain parameters or fulfilling certain metrics of qualifications and experience. So many RBI officials can apply for it through the RBI itself and get a posting in the BIS at Basel in Switzerland for a period of 3 years or so. So you go on deputations abroad. But since RBI doesn't have any postings abroad, you don't get any postings abroad as such. But then RBI, apart from the sabbatical thing, RBI also has what is known as a Golden Jubilee scheme. So every year they select 8 officials at grade C and above, and you can opt for a program abroad in any of the good institutes or management schools abroad. So RBI will bear the fees for that. So you go there for 2 years and do your MBA abroad and come back. Of course, that but is with a bond. So you can't skip and go off somewhere.
So friends, if you want to have higher education, then also RBI provides this facility. So you can opt for Golden Jubilee program, as sir has mentioned, but it is after when you reach the grade C itself. Right. So, sir, this is all about the candidate who is working in the RBI, the lifestyle. If I talk about the interview, right? So, which is very, very, it's a great pain point at the aspirant's end. That what board is generally looking for in the candidate when they appear for the interview.
Last year's round of recruitment, I took a number of interviews, mock interviews. So I found that many of the people coming candidates, they have sort of dropped good jobs and spent 2 or 3 years preparing for different interviews. So that I found that might have a bad effect when you tell them that I was left a good job and just for preparing for exams, or I have not taken up any jobs, didn't go for campus recruitment because I wanted to try for exams. Because see, now when you finish college, they're at the average age of 22 or so, and that is your most creative, productive, and most active time. You'll be most alive, and the abilities will be at the highest at that time. Learning capacity, implementation capacity, work capacity. So that time, and some candidates I found who had spent more than 3 years, they were quite dispirited also. They were not getting through. They were quite dispirited. Whereas if they had been in a job, they'd have had colleagues, they'd be doing something, they'll be earning, their status and respect in society would have been higher. It would have also given them equal confidence to appear and do better at the interviews. Because these exams, say IAS, okay, one round requires a lot of preparation. Beyond that, you can't keep flogging the same subject. The subjects are known, it is limited. So you can't spend the whole day and entire time just learning for these exams. See, I myself say when I got out, I did MA Economics, then I got a job as a PO in Indian Overseas Bank. At the same time, the RBI advertisement came out. So I in Indian Overseas Bank at that time, see, everything was manual. It was very long hours. It's a branch at Madurai, main branch, a lot of business and a lot of work involved. Since you're a probationary officer, you are at everyone's beck and call. You're young, the others are older. So you can't say, no, this is not my job, that's not your job. So if you're on probation, you are supposed to do everything. So so I had to sit in the office, in the branch till 6:37. Some guy will say, no, day book is not balancing. The accountant or manager will say, hey, Sathyan, go and help them out. See, they need somebody's assistance to sort through some number of vouchers and things. So along with that, prepared for the exam. And these are all general exams, which you have the capacity, you can prepare by yourself in your free time and do reasonably well. So I got through a number of exams while working for IOB and then selected RBI. So I'd advise don't leave jobs. And so many people have left jobs in reputed companies like Infosys or TCS or even some other banks. And one guy I found was a probationary officer in Bank of Baroda and he left it. So that is one thing they'll start questioning you about. And then you really don't have a very valid answer. So that is one thing you do. And again, now you have time before the exam and interview to establish your real interest and your aptitude or qualifications for the RBI job. I advise you along with your job, or if you're, and especially if you're not taken up a job, enroll in a course on Excel, advanced Excel, and say data analytics. So both these aspects are very essential requirements in RBI at the moment. So you will have an automatic advantage over the other candidates when you're at the interview level, if you tell them that you are doing these courses. And also once you're enrolled, but be sincere about what you're doing, because they'll ask you questions about it. So now a lot of data analytics going on at RBI. They'll ask you pointed questions on it. But these are two things I'd strongly advise you to enroll in. Any number of online, so what do you call, edtech institutions around. So enroll in this, take it seriously and do it. It will be stand you in very good stead at the interview.
So guys, if you are appearing for interviews, then do not only go with the static knowledge of the syllabus curriculum. Rather, as sir has discussed, that you should do some advanced, some other things also. You have to do different disciplines, like sir has mentioned that you have to do advanced Excel, you can do data analytics as well. So these all are the areas which definitely give you edge over your competitors, right? So you can focus on these areas as well. So this is all, sir, which we want to discuss. Guys, if you have any query,
one more thing I'll tell you again.
Yes, sir.
Apart from these courses, and so when you're writing the biodata at the time of interview, so be careful of what you write. Select it very carefully, so that because they'll ask you from aspects that they pick up in your biodata form. The starting will be from your biodata, and then they'll branch off. So fill that up properly and see that your interests and other co-curricular, extracurricular activities you mentioned properly, and you're able to also substantiate. So what are the achievements in those? Then also I advise you, see, I find many people don't read newspapers. So you subscribe either online or offline to both Economic Times and Business Standard, and two more general newspapers. The Times of India quality is nothing much. The Indian Express has good quality, and one, say the Hindu quality of writing is quite good. So they have a lot of analytical articles. So I suggest both Business Standard, Economic Times, Business Line, which is part of the Hindu group. Federal newspaper, say enroll, get online for Hindu, or even Mint. Mint is a good newspaper. Apart from that, also I would also advise you to say subscribe online subscription to The Economist, which is a weekly journal published from England. So from London, that has very good articles. See, now because India is economically integrated with the world. Earlier we were very inward looking. Now everything abroad concerns India. The whole world looks at India, and India is looking at the whole world and supplying manpower to the whole world. Half the CEOs and all the big Fortune 500 companies are Indians. So you need to have an awareness of what's going on abroad. So The Economist, you can subscribe then, which is the subscription, say, I think they have a 1 month free subscription, after which you can renew on a monthly basis. Then, of course, once your interview is over, you can stop the subscription because it is a bit costly. Then there's one more, Financial Times, again from London, very good journal, but that subscription is very costly. The full access to the full site is very costly. They have a limited access also, which you can try to subscribe to. So if not both, at least Economist, I would advise you to do an online subscription and read the articles on finance and international finance from that. And I would always tell you also, always jot down the major points and keep, so that it'll be easy for you to refer, and it also helps you in remembering later on. Yeah, yes, Prakash, that's all for me.
Yeah, so guys, you can relate that what you need to do if you are appearing for interview, along with the content knowledge which you have already, because you have already cleared the mains, right? But along with that, you need to focus on certain areas which sir has mentioned, like you have to refer different newspapers from where you can have your own opinion with respect to the issues going on. You can do some certifications like Excel, data analytics. So these all are the areas that will definitely give you edge if you are appearing for the interview, right? So
yeah, one more.
Yes, sir.
Sorry.
No, sir.
Also, book reading. See, all these guys who are on the interview panel, or the chairman and the RBI representative at the Reserve Bank Services Board is my person of my age. So at my age, and the chairman of the Services Board is a senior ex-chief secretary IAS officer, also will be around my age. And my age, all people respect book reading. So also, at least for the sake of interview, you see the recent books within the last 5 years on finance or economics, whether Indian and one or two foreign books also. You can just see online which are the good books available. You can say purchase online or purchase the books and read. And also just jot down salient points from the books and keep. So that if they ask you what particularly impressed you about these books, you can tell them about it. So I told you, subscribe to good Indian business newspapers and general newspapers. Subscribe to Economist of London, very preferable. And if possible, subscribe to a smaller version of Financial Times, and book reading. Select some books from the net on economics, finance, both Indian and foreign, and read those, and also jot down the specific points from those.
So guys, these are the areas that will develop your personality, right? So you will be a perfect candidate if you are appearing with all these credentials, right? So guys, this is all. If you have any doubt, you can ask. But before starting question and answer round, one thing I would like to tell you, that if you have any preparation or pattern or strategy related query, guys, you can mail us on hello@edutap.co.in. If you have any doubt with respect to whatever discussion we have, then you can ask. That sir will definitely answer. So guys, you can raise your hand so that I will get to know what queries you have. Okay. So Rahul Parikh, you can unmute yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Rahul.
Yes, welcome.
Sir, good evening, sir. Sir, my current job in Equitas Bank, sir.
Yeah.
So my age, sir, 29. So I will completed, sir, in May 2023, completed 30. So, sir, any impact for my interview, sir?
No, as long as you are within the age limit prescribed in the application,
Yes,
that
sir.
won't be an impact. Since you have additional service in the bank, that will
Yes,
be
sir.
well appreciated. So you have to be able to explain what you're doing in the bank
Yes, sir.
and how you're doing it.
Sir, my work is sales department, sir, for life insurance and security, sir.
Okay, sales.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's okay. You can.
No,
Age within
yes,
the
sir.
limits is not a matter of disqualification.
नहीं, but sir, actually for so many times, sir, कई बार ऐसा होता है सर कि जब इंटरव्यू होगा उस टाइम में जो मेरा जो 13 ईयर है सो वो मैं कंप्लीट कर चुका हूँ सर, तो इसका कोई इम्पैक्ट होगा सर इससे?
13 इयर्स मतलब अभी एज लिमिट क्या है आप?
सर मैं अभी 29 कौन सा?
आरबीआई वो एप्लीकेशन के लिए एज लिमिट होगी ना,
ये सर
जैसे अंदर होना चाहिए। एज लिमिट पास हो गया तो आपको एग्जाम में ही नहीं बुलाएंगे।
बिकॉज़
अगर
एक जनवरी
एज लिमिट कर रहे हैं तो नो प्रॉब्लम, आपका एक्सपीरियंस है तो उसका वेटेज देंगे।
ओके सर, ओके, थैंक यू सर।
Okay, Rahul. Vinay, you can ask your query. You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes, Vinay, yes, you are audible. You can ask your query.
Sir, first of all, thank you so much, sir, Sathyan David, sir, and Prakash, sir, for the wonderful session.
Oh, welcome. Go ahead.
Welcome, Vinay.
Sir, my question is, I'm completely new to this one, and I have gone through the entire syllabus, and I'm completely new to economics and that financial management. So my question is, do I have to put target 24 RBR this year? Because I don't want to be in a hurry mode, and I can hardly give 3 hours a day.
3 hours a day is more than enough. So you have the study material on hand. 3 hours a day is enough. Then you have the weekends. So I would advise you to take up the exam this year. Even if you don't get through, it gives you valuable experience. So even if you know everything, once you go to an exam hall, you would have seen in college and in school, sometimes things that you know, you draw a blank. Then when you come out, you suddenly realize that this is the thing that I knew already, I could have answered this way. So exam practice is always good.
Okay.
Prepare and take it up seriously, not that you slacken up on your preparation for the first year. So the first year preparation is the best. You're new, you're enthusiastic. So after that, you just have to supplement. So I advise you go ahead with it and do it immediately if you're qualified and you're willing to go for it.
Sir, if we start from the scratch from tomorrow onwards, how much time do we really need? Of course, it is completely subjective. It depends upon the quality of study. But how much do we really need? I mean, how many months or like? I think
2 months should be enough.
Okay.
2 months or so should be enough. Because first you have the preliminary.
Right, sir.
So that already you have a time available. Then you have some additional time, 1 month or more for the final. So I think you'll have enough time.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so guys, I'm repeating again. If you have any strategy related doubt, guys, you can mail us on hello@edutap.co.in. Right, that will address. You can, if you have query, whatever discussion we have, if you have query with respect to that, you can ask here itself. Right. So Abhishek, you can ask your query. You can unmute yourself first, then you can ask your query.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Sir, in the RBI guidelines, I have got to know about the leave tour allowance. Like after getting into the RBI, that every 2 years, like there is some arrangement for that tour like a tour payment, sir. So like, can you make it clear about it, sir?
Yeah, leave fare concession. So once in 2 years you can avail. So an officer level AC first class is an entitlement anywhere in India. So there is a monetary ceiling for that. So if you take the LFC within India, it is not taxable. But if you take the monetary equivalent of that and you can go abroad, supplement it with your money. So once you reach, after a few years, once you're an ATM or an DGM, the salaries have increased and your facilities are, those ceiling is quite good for you to afford a foreign tour also. Only thing is that will be taxed at your normal tax scale. But it's a good scheme. It's a very good scheme. Plus, one more thing, RBI has holiday homes in all the holiday resorts in India. Very good holiday homes where you hardly have to pay some 2 rupees per day or something. And they also give you a concession on food. So that's another thing. Even without taking an LFC, you can travel to any holiday home and your stay is taken care of almost free.
So I think your doubt has been resolved, right? Okay, Xiaomi, it's Xiaomi. You can ask your query. You can unmute yourself first. It's Xiaomi 22081283G. You can ask your query. First of all, you need to unmute yourself.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good
So
evening.
actually, I wanted to ask that I'm a student of actuarial science currently, and I had a question that is any particular domain of work experience is needed for the RBI grade B?
No, they don't.
For example,
since the
sir,
yeah, tell me.
yeah. So actually, I'm currently pursuing actuarial science. So majorly, I would be employed in sectors like insurance or banking. So it is a good privilege for me to go into the interview.
No, see, actuarial science is very. See, RBI has a lot of risk management requirement, market risk. So actuarial science with your qualifications in sort of statistics, it's very apt for RBI, especially in Department of Supervision, which supervises banks and frames regulations for banks on risk management. So that's a very appropriate qualification. So, no problem for you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Shiva Krishna, you can ask your query.
Sir, good evening, sir. Good evening from everyone.
Good evening, Shiva.
Sir, I have one question, sir. So RBI grade B officers can work off World Bank or Swiss Bank. So worldwide working facilities are not, sir.
Yeah, World Bank deputation you can get. There are people who have gotten deputation to World Bank. So that is available, World Bank or IMF.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Muhammad Atik.
Sir, does working candidates have any advantage during interviews, sir? Like already if they are working in bank as a PO, probationary officer, does they have any added advantage during RBI grade B interview?
Yeah, there is a bit of an advantage because you have experience in a bank and you worked in a bank. So RBI finally is a supervisor of banks. So a person with banking knowledge will be able to straight away do his job much better without training. So it is a bit of a plus factor. But in theory, on paper, everyone is eligible. But again, it depends on your responses during the interview.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Prashant Sharma.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, Prashant.
Sir, till now I have actually invested my 4 years in UPSC preparations. And apart from that, I'm an engineer and I'm well versed with the website development technologies. And I'm not working at right off now. So can you give me some brownie points for interview? Like, will it be hard for me to crack it down over there?
So you say that you have IT knowledge. There's a lot of
Yeah.
IT now. Because now entire banking, payment systems, all are IT based. So a lot of IT security, IT audit is done by RBI, data extraction, data analytics done by RBI. So as I advised earlier, for you to immediately start some course on. I find many engineers who come to the interview, the mock interview, say that they don't even know Excel. They know algorithms, they know other stuff. But then when coming to RBI, you are not, the core IT will be taken care of by vendors. So you enroll in Excel, advanced Excel and data analytics so that they will have additional satisfaction that you're preparing and targeting your focus on RBI. So that will get improve your chances. And it will also, you can say that I have not been sitting idle. I've been doing this other self-development for myself.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Anumita, you can ask your query. Anumita, you need to unmute yourself first, then you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Both of you. Sir, I wanted to ask you that if the courses from the course set told to do for Excel and data analytics, if is it eligible for I do it from online course or it must be should done from offline?
No, you can do it either way. Now so many online edtech courses are there. So both are acceptable.
Sir, I am a graduation student, a general graduate student. So is there any off for the interview?
What graduation?
Sir, English.
English. Okay. So no, your qualifications are not a bar. So only establish an interest in the field. So for you, I would suggest again, read all the financial newspapers. And also I would suggest strongly subscribe for that Economist and read it. And note down prominent areas of interest, especially a lot of activity in the financial system is going on internationally. The SVB Bank, several signature bank collapses in US, Credit Suisse collapse in Switzerland, and then even the English banking system being in problem. So in the Economist, once you read, and do you have anyone to explain what you don't understand? Try some relative or someone must be there in a bank. So it is quite simple. Once you start reading, you'll get used to it. So, and you can also take query on internet. There are simple explanations available. So I would suggest to improve your focus and show the interview panel that you're interested in this field. So you subscribe to The Economist definitely online and subscribe to all the financial newspapers. And see, again, writing is an important aspect in RBI. So you can also say that since you're a literature graduate, your writing in analytics is quite good and you can prepare with policy notes, board notes, and prepare in a better manner. It's not a disqualification as such.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, I have done a course from Udemy. It's called investment banking for.
Yeah.
So is that any related in this field or just?
Yeah, investment banking is related because banks, it's part of the activities of a bank. And during inspections of banks, you will have to scrutinize the investment activities of the bank, investment banking aspect of portfolio of the bank. So that is related. But I'd also advise you supplement it with Excel and data analytics and also more reading, specific reading.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Priyanka, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir.
Good
I want to ask that I have done my post-graduation in 2018, that is MTech. And now from that time, I'm not employed and I was preparing for bank itself. Now I'm preparing for RBI. So I just wanted the same question to you to answer that what should I prepare? And also, sir, meanwhile, I was interested in painting and dancing also. So will it help in interview?
Yeah, interview you mentioned your hobbies. If you're good in painting and dancing, mention that
Because
in your extracurricular activities. So they'll ask you something on it. What do you do and things?
so because I was not employed till now, so
Okay, yeah, that is.
meanwhile, I can say that I was involved in painting and dancing.
Yeah, yeah, you can say that.
Because sir, it's been 5 years. I am not employed. So that.
Why did you do that? Not take up a job after MTech?
Sir, because I
done
was
something.
preparing for bank and also I have qualified pre, but in mains only 2 to 3 times I was not able to qualify by 2 marks or 5 marks. So that was the problem.
In the interview, mentioned that, and then again do this other courses, especially Excel. You try to take up Excel, data analytics, as I mentioned, and more reading. So you bring that into your mention that during an interview. You've been doing all this to develop knowledge on banking and finance.
Okay, sir. So novels related to novels or books already
books.
related.
There's a book like Tamal Bandyopadhyay has written 2 books. One on general. He's written episodes about major big bankers in India. Then another book on the banking problems in India, Tamal Bandyopadhyay. Then there are books by that Sucheta Dalal on the scam 1992. And one more book on SEBI also. So these are easy reading. So you can read these and pick up some points from that and say that you read these books also.
Okay, sir. Sir, that I was mentioning that about hobbies. So it will be a good impression or not if I mention that I was involved in this painting and dancing. That's why I was not able to get a job.
Don't say that's why I didn't get a job. Say that I was doing this. So how painting, but were you doing professionally? Were you holding exhibitions and things? They'll ask you about that. Or are you doing it just for?
At that level, but at the level of interest and gifting something to someone.
Painting and gifting, you can say. What about dance? Were you running some dance school or anything?
That is, I'm learning classical.
Learning. Okay,
Yes.
Classical dance. Okay. You can say that you're learning classical dance. It occupies a lot of time and concentration. And also, with additional now you do this reading and additional courses.
Yes.
To supplement.
Okay, thank you, sir. And one question I was about to ask that, sir, about foreign tours, they provide in RBI, they provide LTC or not?
Yeah, see the LTC, if you go up, you can use the money for LTC abroad. Only thing you will be taxed on it, but that is quite acceptable. So you're getting a foreign tour and 30% tax you will pay, which will be recovered on a monthly basis. You won't feel a pinch. So many people go abroad with the LTC facilities.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Rituraj, you can ask your query.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Yeah, hi, sir. Actually, I'm working in Oracle Fusion Technical as a senior consultant with the skill of Fusion and OIC, Oracle Integration Cloud. Actually, I'm saying because my package is around 25 to 30 lakh, and actually I'm dilemma I'm preparing RBI or not, because I'm searching in Quora, I'm talked to a little bit RBI manager. I'm confusion regarding the transfer policy. So he telling me in RBI everything is good, perfect, but there is little bit issue nowadays in transfer policy, because nowadays POJ is also working. So it's very difficult after 5 years. If let's say she switch to a different city, and might be you not switch to Mumbai to Hyderabad, or because I'm currently in Hyderabad, because the IT sector in Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, these are the sector of IT. So maybe if I'm RBI, there's some issues regarding the transfer policy with SPOJ is also working.
Transfer, see, you can ask for say 1 year. They give you extension. Suppose you're at a later stage, if your child is in, say, 10th standard or in 11th standard, they'll give you a 1 year deferment so that your child will complete schooling till 10th or till 12th in the same center. But then other spouse working, maybe your health or something, maybe at the most 1 year deferment they'll give you. But then it becomes an issue. It's a transferable job. Now see, if there are some 5 or 6 people who don't want to go on transfer, out of a pool of 10, say 3 people don't want to go on transfer, The normal transfer policy is once in 5 years. The remaining 7 will have to be rotated faster. So it's not fair on everyone. So they want it to be equitable, and especially IT will have that remote working facilities available. So somehow you'll have to manage that.
Because I'm currently working in IT. Yeah.
Why is working in IT, you said? So
Yeah,
transfers, they are normally quite strict about, because you can't discriminate between people. No?
I think the transfer is only in metro cities, no? Like Hyderabad, Mumbai.
Yeah, it's all state capitals, but they have some centers in the northeast also. But there are very few posts there, so normally you don't get transferred there.
So I think this is good, so because metro cities, everything facilities like airport,
Yeah.
everything is facilities now. So
yeah, everything is there. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, Akshada, you can ask your query.
गुड इवनिंग सर। सर मुझे ये पूछना है कि आरबीआई कास्ट रिलैक्सेशन मतलब क्या प्रोवाइड करती है, अगर ओबीसी एससी एसटी के लिए क्या रिलैक्सेशन प्रोवाइड करती है? बिकॉज मिनिमम एज आप 21 अपियर कर सकते हो और मैक्सिमम 30 एज है, तो आफ्टर 30 अगर मुझे करना हो, मतलब मेरी एज तो 28 है, बट मुझे जस्ट पूछना है कि अगर आई हैव ओबीसी कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट, सो दैट्स व्हाई
आफ्टर 30 तो उसके बियॉन्ड रिलैक्सेशन तो नहीं देंगे एप्लीकेशन में।
ओके बट अगर ओबीसी का कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट है देन क्या रिलैक्सेशन?
वो पोस्ट उससे जॉब रिजर्वेशंस है ना, कोटा वही फैसिलिटी मिलती है। उसके बाद तो वंस यू आर ऑन द जॉब, एससी एसटी का रिजर्वेशंस है, रोस्टर है अबाउट प्रमोशंस, बट ओबीसी का नहीं है।
ओबीसी का नहीं है, ओके। बट द मैक्सिमम एज इज 30 ओनली, उसके बाद मैं अपियर नहीं कर सकती हूँ।
नहीं, वो एप्लीकेशन में क्या अप टू 30 है ना।
अक्षता, आप एग्जामिनेशन फॉर्म भरने की बात कर रहे हैं क्या?
नहीं एक्चुअली सर मैं जस्ट पूछ रही हूँ क्योंकि मैं उसी में थोड़ा कंफ्यूज हूँ कि क्या मतलब एज क्राइटेरिया क्या है, मतलब
उसमें कुछ एज रिलैक्सेशंस दिया हुआ है। आई थिंक ओबीसी के लिए 3 साल है, मतलब 33 हो जाता है अगर आपको एप्लीकेशन उसका फाइल करना है तो, राइट? तो वो एक बार वो नोटिफिकेशन एक बार गो थ्रू करिए आप लास्ट ईयर का, यू विल गेट टू नो दिस।
ओके सर, ओके। बट मुझे यही पूछना है कि मतलब अगर समझो मैं अभी 28 की हूँ सर, मुझे अप्लाई करना है, तो मेरे पास अभी कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट है, तो मैं अप्लाई कर सकती हूँ अगर मुझे समझो टाइम अगर मुझे लगता है तो मैं उसके बाद भी कर सकती हूँ कंटिन्यू या नहीं, मतलब 30 के बाद?
वो डेट कट ऑफ डेट देते हैं ना वो फॉर्म में, उस डेट के पहले बिलो 30 होना पड़ेगा। You should not cross 30 on that date.
ओके ओके ठीक है। थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू।
ओके
या वीवो।
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I am presently pursuing my BTech, sir. Sir, what type of resume should I prepare for getting into RBI? I mean, what type of certifications or any additional courses should I do?
Yeah, see, RBI, they will need a lot of usage of Excel. So advanced Excel if you're doing well and good. Then statistics. Do you have any statistics optional in your BTech? Math, statistics, and also data analytics. What BTech and what are you doing? Which field?
Mechanical engineering, sir.
Mechanical, okay, not IT. But you must be having some courses in your college on data analytics and things, no optionals.
Yes, sir.
So you take up those courses. The data analytics or Excel training is there, or Excel somewhere outside also you can enroll in.
Sir, I mean, BTech is completely different from economics and management, sir.
Yeah.
Means I have to do any MBA or any other courses for getting into
No need. No need. BTech is okay because finally there are a lot of other specialized training that RBI gives. So just to be on a better rung than the other candidates, so you enroll for other specific courses because IT, okay, you're not doing IT,
Yes,
But, try to take as many IT related courses as possible as optionals, and especially data analytics, and do an Excel course outside.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Ankur? Pooja, you can ask your query.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Pooja. Yes, you can ask your query.
Hello, namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Sir, I graduated in August last year and preparing for RBI since then. So I was thinking of getting a diploma in finance. I wanted to ask if it would be okay to pursue it in distance mode.
Yeah, that's okay. You can do in distance mode. So that will give you an additional plus point saying that you are interested in finance.
Okay, fine, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. That.
Okay. Only be prepared to answer questions on the course you are pursuing, what you have been learning and things.
Apurva, you can ask your query.
Hello. Hi, sir. Thank you for this
Hello.
session. Sir, I'm a computer engineering graduate, and so as an IT graduate, what are the departments I am likely to be posted in? Can you tell us in brief about some of the important departments in RBI? And as an IT graduate and someone who has a work experience of 3 years in IT industry, in which department will I be most useful in the RBI? And I have read about the fintech division which was recently created, but will we as a grade B manager, will we be posted if we give it as a preference, will we be posted on joining in that division?
Yeah, you could be posted as a grade B also in fintech division. Although at the moment it's a small division, so they will not be having many grade B vacancies. So as an IT requirement is very high in RBI. So there's a Department of Information Technology in RBI which monitors and sets up all the IT projects in RBI. So most of the IT projects work, RBI staff don't take up themselves, but they outsource it, they give it out to vendors by quotation. So the major vendors like TCS, Infosys, these big companies do the major IT projects. So the DIT is one thing, so that you know what are the parameters required, system requirement studies and stuff that and technology you are aware of. So that is directly under IT. Apart from that, Department of Payment and Settlement Services, this entire payment services sector is done only through IT, on IT platforms. So that is an important department where an IT background would be quite useful. Then Department of Supervision, both which supervises and lays down policy for banks, NBFCs and cooperative banks. So that is a large department that requires a lot of IT-based expertise, because a lot of IT systems, controls, IT security is a major area which RBI inspectors look into during the course of inspections. Then one has to understand the IT of the entity being inspected, so that even extracting data dumps, and all the processes and work involved, and IT qualification gives you a plus point. So these are the departments, and of course, fintech department is also one area which would be applicable in case of IT graduates.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay, welcome.
Sonal? Sonal, do unmute yourself. Yeah, you can ask your query.
हेलो गुड इवनिंग सर
Good evening.
सर मुझे ये पूछना था एक्चुअली अभी मैं कैनरा बैंक में वर्किंग हूँ
हाँ
मेरे हस्बैंड भी कैनरा बैंक में हैं
हाँ
तो अगर मेरा सिलेक्शन होने के बाद तो क्या मतलब हस्बैंड के पास मतलब ट्रांसफरेबल
हाँ, हस्बैंड को
ट्रांसफर के लिए
ट्रांसफर कर
प्रायोरिटी
देंगे
दी
ना।
जाएगी
कैनरा बैंक तो बड़ी बैंक है, सभी जगह में है, और आरबीआई पोस्टिंग भी सब मेन सेंटर्स में है। तो हस्बैंड को कैनरा बैंक ट्रांसफर करा देंगे, जहाँ भी आपकी पोस्टिंग है वहाँ भेज देंगे, या आप हस्बैंड के सेंटर में है, आप रहना चाहते हैं तो वहाँ डिपोज करेंगे, मगर 5 साल में एक बार तो बार ट्रांसफर करेंगे। क्या होता है कि मेरे भी कलीग्स लेडीज थी, हस्बैंड्स कहीं और बैंक में काम करते थे, तो 6 महीना 1 साल जरा सेपरेशन हो जाती है, इमीडिएटली तो दोनों को ट्रांसफर मिलता नहीं ना। तो आप प्रिपेयर कर लीजिए। आरबीआई में मोरलेस ट्रांसफर शेड्यूल पता होगा, क्योंकि वंस इन 4 to 5 years ट्रांसफर होती है। तो ट्रांसफर से पहले आप हस्बैंड को भी प्रिपेयर रख लीजिए, तो वहाँ वो भी अपने बैंक पे कांटेक्ट करके बता देंगे। सिंस दोनों आप बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री में भी है, में ही है, तो वो तो कोऑर्डिनेट हो जाएगी, प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगी।
जी सर। और सर मैंने पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट डिप्लोमा इन बैंकिंग एंड फाइनेंस भी किया हुआ है, वो 9 month का उसकी ट्रेनिंग होती है। तो क्या विल आई बी गिवन द प्रायोरिटी इन इंटरव्यू?
ओके, इंटरव्यू में हाँ, थोड़ा तो आपका एडवांटेज रहेगा इंटरव्यू में, और वेल प्रिपेयर्ड जाना पड़ेगा कि क्या पढ़े हैं उस कोर्स में और कैसे अप्लाई
सर,
करेंगे।
और एक्चुअली मैं बैंक में भी लगभग 4 साल से अभी वर्किंग हूँ।
हाँ, किस में? आप भी कैनरा में है क्या?
ये सर, कैनरा बैंक।
हाँ, अच्छा, ठीक है। क्या पीओ है ऑफिसर लेवल में या?
अभी ऑफिसर सर, एक्चुअली प्रमोशन नहीं लिया क्योंकि आरबीआई की प्रिपरेशन करनी है।
अच्छा,
यस सर।
ओके
ओके, थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
HP, you can ask your query.
Okay, sir. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for such an informative session, first of all.
Yeah, welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks, sir. Sir, so my question is, sir, I am going to complete my graduation in this year from BSc Maths. And now want to be in this sector, which is completely different stream, though I'm aware that education qualification is not a barrier. But still, sir, how a person like me start his preparation journey in this field? So,
BSc Maths, you must be having a course on statistics also, no?
yes, sir. Yes.
So see, now a lot of banking risk management models and even underwriting models are built up on statistical models, using statistics as the tool. So mathematical qualification in maths is very useful in the banking sector, because a lot of banking uses a lot of maths and quants, as they say. So that is very applicable. So it's not a problem. Side by side, you can also, as I advise, take up, do some program course on Excel and data analytics, and also read up on finance and economics.
Yes, sir. So on online basis, sir, I have to do it.
Okay.
That's good. The second thing, sir, if someone is able to give the interview at a very low age, sir, so will it work as an advantage or disadvantage? As it has
doesn't matter if you've done well enough in the exam, so it doesn't matter as long as you've got the all the plus points and do well in the interview. It is not an issue. Then since there are so many lady candidates, I tell you that RBI for a lady is very good. See, all the postings are in big centers, and RBI as an organization is very woman friendly. They have all policies are very, they see that women have a certain role in the society and women have certain problems intrinsically. So that is taken care of. So even when the women have to go on tour or something, so they you can go on a previous day, you can ensure that women are sent during day hours, not at odd hours. They won't insist that you leave your house at 4 o'clock in the morning to catch a flight at 5 o'clock. So they'll allow you to go the previous afternoon or evening, so that you reach your place of destination before nightfall. And you can leave that place also at a normal hour, so that you're not placed at any risk.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Aniket Sinha.
Hello, good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can ask your query.
Yeah, sir, first of all, thank you so much for giving your precious time. It means a lot for me.
Welcome.
Sir, my question is that what is the enhanced salary of the RBI Grade B officer?
It will be one level higher than the grade A. So the salary differential A, B, C might not be too much, the perks are better, and see what happens is when you join as a grade A, every year some 30, 40 or even larger candidates are there, 60 people are coming above you. So in the 4 years that you might take to write the internal exam and become a grade B, say 4 into 5, 200 people have come above you, which automatically puts a brake on your further promotions. First few promotions you may get, but there'll be people of the same age or even lower age above you. So after the first 3 promotions, it becomes very difficult because finally it's a bureaucratic organization, the narrows at the top. The top level vacancies are lesser. So that gives you a tremendous advantage in promotions, and which again counts in increments and salary enhancements as you go ahead.
Okay, so it means that a person who is still in the probation period will get the same amount of salary.
Yeah, you get the same amount.
There will be no any kind of differentiation between them.
No, you get the same salary.
And sir, my
Only,
last question is that the extra allowances and perks that the RBI grade B manager gets, is there any deduction from them also, like some income tax and another
income
deduction?
tax on perks is as per deduction, but the tax deducted on perks is added back to your salary. So the effective impact of income tax is reduced considerably. So they give you a perks allowance. So finally, instead of paying 30% tax on perks, you will end up paying around some 10%.
Okay, so sir, I am in the semester 6th and I will complete my graduation in 1 or 2 months. So sir, if you want, you can give me some advice that in which subject I should focus more, because currently I am pursuing my BBA. Sir, BBA, Bachelor of Business Administration.
Bachelor, okay. Bachelor. So hopefully you have taken finance as a subject.
Yes, sir.
Accounts,
I have finance.
Commerce.
Yes, sir.
Management accountancy and working capital finance. These are some subjects you have done. Then also supplement it with courses on Excel and say data analytics. And if you can side by side enroll in a CFA also, that will be good. Because CFA is as good as an MBA with specialization in finance.
So Aniket,
okay.
Yeah, oral queries has been answered.
Yes, sir. But more, my last query is that if I will opt the Hindi language in the interview phase, तो सर बहुत सारे मिथ्स रहते हैं कि मतलब जो हम लोग बात करते हैं उसे लोग कहते हैं कि वो शुद्ध हिंदी नहीं है. फॉर एग्जांपल जैसे कोई भी वर्ड हुआ जैसे फॉर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन या इकोनॉमिक्स, तो इन सब को भी हिंदी में ही बोलना है या फिर
नहीं वो ठीक है, वो समस्या नहीं है. आप नॉर्मल जो खड़ी बोली है, नॉर्मल हिंदी बोली है ना, उसमें आप बात कर सकते हैं, तो वो एक्सेप्टेबल है. बीच बीच में थोड़ा
मतलब सर मिक्स लैंग्वेज चल सकता है.
हाँ, अंग्रेजी मिक्स करने से भी चलेगा, कोई ऐसा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
ओके सर, थैंक यू सो
मच.
Yes, Mahesh Kumar.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes, hello. Mahesh, you can ask your query.
Yes, I am from a business background. I do a wholesale apparel, but I don't have any knowledge regarding any financial or economic subjects because I just finished computer science engineering. So how is there going to be any kind of scrutiny since I'm from this background?
No, there won't be. Business, you will be knowing accountancy then and commerce, which is a basic requirement. So, and plus you have a computer background, IT background. So that is also a strong requirement. Then you supplement it with additional reading and explain that during the interview. So that should take you through.
Right, Mahesh?
Yes,
Mahesh?
sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah.
Narendran?
Hello, sir.
Yes, Narendran, you can ask your query.
Sir, I am Narendran, sir, coming from Tamil Nadu, sir. I have 5 years experience in banking, sir. Sir, my query is that generally people from the generalist grade B cadre posted in banking regulation department. I heard it from some resources, sir. But I want to work in a DPR department or fintech department. There are some preferences for me.
So DPR, there is a separate. See, economics and DPR and statistics, there's a separate recruitment. So you have to
Okay,
apply
sir.
for that recruitment.
Okay. But after I joined as a generalist officer, if I separately pursue some MBA economic courses and develop my technical knowledge, will there be any chance of posting there?
No, they won't do lateral transfers. Because
Oh,
that
they won't,
seniority is involved, no? So because here this generalist seniority is separate and they have separate seniority.
But what about fintech department or financial?
No, fintech is all general, under general. Only DEPR, Department of Economic Policy and Department of Department of Information Statistical, those are separate, specialized.
So new joinees can be posted there.
Sorry?
If you are new joinees can work in that department.
No, you have to apply for that exam and write DPR exam.
I'm not talking about DPR, sir. Fintech.
Oh, fintech, fintech and all you can work in, yeah.
Okay, I can work. And second question is that after I join RBI, if I want to personally pursue some value addition courses like some Ayurveda course or some courses for my personal excellence, will RBI permit to pursue those courses?
That they'll permit. Yeah, free time
that
they'll permit, yeah.
Okay, sir. One of my final questions, sir, related to monetary policy transmission. This is a technical question. If you are willing, you can answer, sir. I have a very long time this question is in my mind.
No, see, I think we are diverting from the focus of this. Let's give the others a chance.
Yeah, Narendran.
Okay, conceptual issues.
Others are also waiting.
Yeah.
So kindly ask the topic, whatever we have discussion, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So much.
Okay. Welcome. Welcome.
Okay.
Shubhangi.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I'm in my probation period, first year.
Huh.
So during interview, which area I have to focus?
So probation, which organization are you working in?
I'm in Bank of India.
Sorry, Bank of India. Okay. So probation, they'll be rotating you around, no? Different departments.
Yes, sir.
So by the time you come to the interview, you have completed 1.5 years.
Right.
So try to, before that, have you done credit department, credit or foreign exchange?
Now I'm in credit department.
Credit department. Okay. Focus on credit. That's an important area of focus. Early credit underwriting processes in Bank of India. Then if you are able to do the treasury or forex department also before the interview, just focus on that and focus on that in the interview. So those are areas of focus in RBI.
Okay.
Again, you got a good job in Bank of India. Why do you want to leave?
My dream job is RBI.
Okay.
And one more question, sir. When we get in RBI grade B, there is a probation period.
Yeah, there's a 2-year probation period, but it's not that like in commercial bank, they rotate you around department. It's not like that. They'll post you in a department which you'll continue in for some 3 to 4 years, or at least 2 years, or normally 3 to 4 years. The regional office may be less of time. So
yes, sir.
And you'll be on regular job. You'll be on a regular job. It's not training.
Okay, sir. Okay. And during probation, we cannot apply for any loans.
I think probation normally you won't get a loan, but you'll get the society loan.
Okay.
Up to some
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Sir, one thing I would like to ask, are you comfortable taking further queries, sir?
Okay, you can do a few more hands are there.
Okay, sir. Mehak, you can ask your queries. Mehak?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Thanks for your explanation, sir, for all the things so kindly. Sir, I need to ask that I'm pursuing BBA second year right now. So is that advantageous or disadvantages to me to start it so earlier?
So you're in second year of
BBA. I'm pursuing my bachelor's.
Are you eligible to apply now? I think they
No,
said
sir.
to complete
I'll be eligible from next year.
next year only, no?
Yes, sir. My graduation is not yet completed.
So Mehak, what is your query basically?
Sir, like everybody is pursuing some graduation or post graduation here, and everywhere wherever I see someone preparing for RBI Grade B. So, is that advantageous to me, or is it too early?
Okay, so you can apply.
I can't apply now, sir, because
no, you can.
I
Yeah,
need...
no. Once you're eligible to apply, you can apply. So postgraduate or undergraduate is not a disqualification. So only in the interview and final level, they might have an edge. A person with a PG might have an edge over you. But again, depends if you perform very well in the interview, they find you confident and analytical and able to answer in a structured manner. So you have good chances. And also you want to be really keen, then supplement your present BBA degree with other specialized qualifications like already been mentioning, and more reading, so that your sort of lack of post-graduation will get overcome with that.
Sir, but actually I read that after graduation only I can apply. I'm hearing this first time that I can apply even now.
No, you can't apply even now, no? After graduation only. You should have graduated. They give that cutoff date by which you should have graduated. Isn't that so, Prakash?
Yes, sir. Correct, sir. Bilkul. So until unless you are eligible for the examination, you cannot apply, Mehak, right? So for that, you need to have a degree, which is mentioned in the notification. You can refer the notification. There is mentioned that you must have the degree before applying for the examination, right? Right, Mehak? Mehak, is it okay?
Hello.
Yes, Mehak, is it okay?
Yes, sir, it is okay. But I was asking that does interview gives preference to those who have pursued post-graduation degree? That is my basic question.
No, there's no official preference. But normally, see, those who have done a post-graduation have a broader base of knowledge, so they might perform better. That's the only thing. But all to start with, all are on an equal pedestal. There's no additional official weightage given to PGs.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay,
and sir, one more thing I need to ask is in general awareness part, which is of 80 marks approx. I need to go with a static or general.
Mehak, for that, I already told you that for strategy related component, you can mail us on hello@edutap.co.in. So our faculty will connect you over the call, then they will guide you definitely, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Mehak, welcome.
Welcome.
Abhirup, you can ask your query.
Hello, sir. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you for good evening. Yeah, sir. I have completed my master in botany last year, and from December I am working in an MNC as a medical scribe. So I started my preparation this month. So as I am from totally a different background, is it a problem or an issue in the interview or something?
Yeah, prima facie, you're from a different background, but on paper, all are equal. So you have to show your extra interest in this field by doing all the things that I already mentioned. So I don't want to keep repeating the same advice. All the newspapers, reading, additional courses.
I have done some advanced Excel courses and some database courses like SQL, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, those are good. And also do some additional reading and bring that out during the interview.
And is this experience will help in interview, as it is a medical healthcare department actually I'm working?
So normally, see, any job, you're interacting with people, you have to manage people, you have to manage people above you, below you, you have to manage customers. So interpersonal relations skills develop. So that is one important thing always, which is there on the job. They can highlight in the interview also. Say, rather than sitting idle, say, interpersonal skills always develop, whatever job you're doing.
Yes.
When you're interacting with others at different levels. So that will help you out
Yes, sir.
in any job.
And sir, from my result of masters and the job, there is a 5 months gap. So is it a
That's
problem?
okay. So 5 months, 6 months, or even up to a year is okay. Beyond that, they might ask you.
Okay, sir. Okay. And sir, can you repeat the books you have mentioned for like
See, there's one by
Tamal
Tamal Bandyopadhyay, the author.
Yes,
He
sir.
writes on finance. He's a journalist also. Then Sucheta Dalal.
And sir, okay, sir.
So you can search them, take them out on the internet. You can buy the books.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Oh, welcome.
Yes, Parita, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I have completed my bachelor's and master's in economics, and I'm eligible for DPR exam. So I wanted to ask: are there any major difference between the job profile of an general DPR officer and general officer?
Yeah, there's a lot of difference between that. DPR is mostly on economic analysis and deeper economic analysis and specific a lot of research work involved. Okay. But also DPR people are posted in one person is posted in other departments to help them with conceptual research areas, or they say a lot of econometrics involved. They have to do some econometrics study or some sort of regression analysis. DPR people are posted. So DPR is a very interesting department and a lot of scope available there. A lot of high-level economic analysis they do. And even all the monetary policy, the department is staffed by DPR. And you get a lot of good exposure and a lot of foreign exposure also. So I would advise, if you are really interested, you are a bachelor's and master's in economics, you write that exam, prepare well for it. There's a lot of scope in that.
Sir, another question was, if I completed my master's last year and I had a gap year in between, so would it affect very negatively, or should I?
Suppose you can. Did you do any other courses or anything in between?
Sir, I have actually, while I was in master's and bachelor's, at that time, I did data analytics itself and econometrics, statistics.
That's good. Yeah. So that's there. But then why did you not take up a job?
Sir, at that time, the personal family situation was not very favorable.
1 year, you can say 1 year is not too much of a gap. You won't consider it bad. 1 year is okay. You try to explain it out some way.
Okay. And so another question regarding the same DPR issue was, I have heard that there are promotions are relatively more in DPR section, but I have seen that vacancies are very less in DPR exams.
So less. Promotions at different levels, certain levels, early levels are faster. Okay. Then it reduces, but then these things even out over the long term. And now see, there are a lot of earlier there was only one executive director from DEPR. Now there are at least 3 from DEPR. So these things keep changing as the scope for economics and finance keeps expanding. It changes like anything. Like when I joined RBI in 1984 at grade B, we were told that you will retire at the most as DGM or GM at grade D or E. So, but then the world opened up like anything after that. It expanded like anything.
So personally, what would you suggest, DPR or?
You can apply for both. So if you get DPR, you can go for that. It will give you your core economics. You can use in a more intensive basis there. But equally interesting otherwise also. You can write both, then decide after that.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Suma, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for this informative session. Sir, I have completed my BTech in computer science engineering. There will be some of the posts that MBA or master's is mandatory. So is it something advisable to do MBA before joining into RBI, or can we do like while doing the RBI job also, and we can do masters like MBA by giving gap in RBI like that? So what is the advisable thing?
See, once if you have joined RBI, there is not much of a point in taking a gap and doing an MBA separately.
Okay.
Because RBI trainings are good enough to make you a skilled MBA, especially in finance. So depends on what you want to do, unless you want to leave and go after that. So I would advise you, you need not wait for MBA. You can start applying for RBI exams and then enroll for an MBA simultaneously. So suppose RBI takes some time coming, so you can complete your MBA and join also.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Ajay, you can ask your query.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Ajay, you can ask your query.
Sir, I wanted to ask that can a RBI officer's family member can do a trading in options and futures and options?
Yeah, RBI officer's family member doing, technically there are no bars. The officers also you can do. Only you have to, certain codes of ethics are there that if you're involved, you have insider knowledge. Should not be doing. See, you have to exercise your own judgment. That if you are involved in inspecting some banks where you know credit information of certain companies, at the same time somebody you know well is doing trading in those shares, then it becomes a bit of a conflict of interest. So you have to be careful about that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Shankar, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir. I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible. You can ask your query.
Sir, actually, I'm an engineering graduate and currently working in an Indian bank, that too in a zonal office, Kanjipuram.
Yeah.
As clerk, sir. Looking after the department expenditure and the expenditure of the Kanjipuram zone and the lead bank section.
Okay.
In Kanjipuram, Indian bank is the lead bank. So I had an opportunity and having an opportunity to attend some of the meeting like DLRC meeting, DCC meeting every month. So will it be any advantages over the interview in RBI, or only officers in commercial banks are getting those advantages?
No, not necessarily. At a clerical level, if you can say that you have been for meetings, you know what is going on at DCC meetings and all the financial inclusion initiatives, financial education. So since you're there, if you mention DCC, they'll ask you what are the financial inclusion initiatives or targets that Indian Bank has been doing. Also financial education, what is being planned by Indian Bank. So you have to explain a little more and elaborate. So it is not necessary that you have to be an officer to get an edge over the others.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Pooja, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I'm currently pursuing BCom and I'm having my second semester. Sir, will be eligible to write RBI Grade B exam in 2025 or only at 2026?
So that just check up with the notifications. I don't know the exact.
Pooja, you have to check the. Sorry, sir, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah.
Pooja, you have to check the notifications of whatever cutoff date is mentioned in the notification. You will be eligible accordingly, right? So if it is after your graduation, then you are eligible that year. If it is not, then you will be eligible in the next year itself. So for that, you need to refer the notification itself.
Okay, sir. And my last question is that, sir, if you are employed as an RBI Grade B officer, will that there's any criteria that we shouldn't trade or invest in stock markets?
Yeah, you have to be careful. See, there are SEBI requirements on insider trading. So, many cases when you inspect banks, you'll have to go through their credit files. So you'll know what projects are being planned by different companies. So the RBI has internal guidelines when to this thing. It is preferable, say at a junior level, okay, you can't influence funds, but it's preferable to go only for mutual funds so that your fingers are not pointed at you. Because now, earlier during my days, it was not very watertight, things were easier, and market was not so well developed. But now with so many complications, so many regulations and restrictions, and with social media and whatnot, things always keep coming out. So, and see, SEBI also will know when they do some scrutiny. Suppose some particular share comes up for insider trading investigation by SEBI, and they find a lot of trades. They'll see who's doing the trade, and they find your address is RBI officers' quarters. So they'll write to RBI also. This particular person in RBI quarters seems to have done an undue amount of trading during this period where we are investigating. So that becomes a bit of a bad mark. So there are internal guidelines which they have refined now. So that they will advise you once you join RBI. So you have to be a bit circumspect about such
Okay,
things.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome.
Yeah, Sulva, you can ask your query. Sulva, you can ask your query. Sulva, you are not audible. You have to unmute yourself first. Okay, Jyoti Sen, you can ask your query.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Good evening, sir. I just had one question. So I wanted to ask, can officers from RBI go to organizations like the World Bank and the IMF?
Yeah, officers from RBI get deputations for World Bank and IMF, depending on their qualifications and their experience. So quite a few go on deputations to World, especially to World Bank. IMF, it's more the people from the economics specialized department who go to IMF. So that's a more specialized job. The World Bank people go, then they go on deputation to Bank for International Settlements, which is at Basel. So there are chances for deputations abroad. And RBI also has this sort of exchange programs. They send you for 6 months to, say, Bank of France or certain other central banks where you can do a project which is applicable to Indian conditions. You can see what are the best practices being done at that particular bank. So there's a lot of scope for international exchanges in RBI.
Okay, sir. Does it take like a certain amount of experience in RBI to be
Yeah,
able
it
to do
requires
that?
some experience in the particular departments before you are saying.
Okay, sir. So any number of years that you would say?
So normally at least 5 years to get to know things. So, but normally it's people with more than 10 years of experience would be selected.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Sir, are you comfortable taking further queries, sir?
Okay, I think 4 more hands are there now. We can finish them.
Okay, sir. Sulva, you can ask your query. Sulva, you can ask your query. I think there is a technical issue on your side.
Has she typed it out?
She has, I think, some technical issue.
Yeah.
Ashish, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can ask your query.
Sir, I graduated from my BA English in 2019, and after that, I've been teaching students for like 4 years. I have no other jobs. So will it affect me negatively in the interview?
Okay, anyway, you've been teaching is more private tuition, not an institutional job.
Yeah, it's like a small institution, sir.
In an institution, okay, so that's okay. Only then you should show some additional interest in finance and economics, since it's so many years since you completed.
Come again, sir. I didn't hear
So
you.
you should show some interest in finance economics. So
Yeah,
enroll in these additional programs and things to show some commitment to finance economics.
Like, why? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, why did I show the interest in economics?
No, you should show, no, because you're coming to a field where economics and finance is involved. That's a totally different field, and it's been several years. I think now 4 years since you graduated.
Yeah.
So you've not been in any organizational job after that. So why the sudden interest they'll ask you to establish?
Why am I showing interest, or do I have to show interest?
You have to say prove to them why you are applying now after 4 years. You have to sort of convince them, no? See, there's been quite a gap involved.
Yeah.
And your field is different.
Yes, sir.
So in case, as I've been saying, if you've been, say, done some specialized programs in, say, data analytics or Excel, and you've done extensive reading, if you're able to demonstrate your additional interest that you've built up in finance economics, that will give you a push for the interview.
Oh, okay, sir. Shall I do it online or shall I do it offline?
Now most of the courses are offline. You can do it. You can do it online. I mean, most courses are online.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Parmanand, you can ask your query.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, RBI works like a corporate, but eventually it works under government, and government employees have some restrictions. So what will be the restrictions on an RBI employee apart from a general citizen?
So general, say, a government and RBI, you cannot take up other occupations, any other additional activities you want to do, even if it is not profit, not income earning, you need to take RBI permission so that there's no conflict of interest, because you're in a public policy institution where policy decisions affect several other entities outside. So that the arm's length distance, so that any of your involvement with outside institutions should not affect your decisions at RBI. So those requirements are there. You cannot take up any other jobs or any other engagements without RBI permission.
So any other jobs from government or any private also?
No, any job, private. The government, no government will give you a job if you're working in RBI. And even say in a private sector company, now they're talking about moonlighting. So you're working in Infosys, they'll not like you to work for TCS part-time either. So those normal restrictions are there, no, whether government or private.
Okay, sir. And what should be the content of resume and the format of the resume for interview?
Resume format they'll be giving you. So you'll have to fill it out.
Okay, so it should be only for academic or any other things also?
Academic, no, all the questions will be there. Academic, extracurricular, co-curricular, everything will be there. You can write all those stuff. Okay, and they'll ask you from the CV. So you be sure that you're writing carefully and write what you can answer on.
Okay, sir. And the last question, I have done my BTech from computer science and engineering last year, and from the last June, I am working as software engineer. So I have less experience in working, and also I have no financial academic background. So would it affect in interview?
No, that's what I said. No, you pick up some financial background by reading or doing some courses. I was mentioning you can supplement yourself.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, Vishakha, you can ask your query.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I am pursuing third year in BVOC, means the Bachelor of Vocation in BFSI. There are in each semester we have on the job training program, but because 2 years in lockdown our college didn't provide us that, and now also they are doing delay in third year. So after my last semester ends, I'm going to do it on my own, but I want to ask that since my degree only is in our curriculum only, it is included that on the job training is there, but will it affect an interview that during college time I didn't do it, and after completion of graduation I'm doing that?
No, that shouldn't be a problem, because there were other extenuating circumstances because of which you could not do. It was a lockdown. So that's okay. Only thing to supplement, again, do some extra reading, extra courses, which will help you out during interview.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Akanksha?
Good evening, sir.
Good
Sir, I am a horticulture graduate last year. Sir, so there is any advantage of agriculture background students in RBI?
Yeah, for say, rural planning department is a financial inclusion and development department where a lot of rural development initiatives, policies, priority sector, agricultural lending policies are developed. So agriculture is a qualification which could be useful in RBI. So again, just can broad basic do some additional reading like already been suggesting, and supplement your qualifications by additional reading or additional courses.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Yes, Pritika, you can ask your query.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah.
You can ask your query.
It is just the same question, but I'm still confused on what if I get selected as RBI manager, and am I restricted from trading in stock market? Whether I
You have
can.
to be careful. You're taking a public policy job with other responsibilities and a lot of conflict of interest. So there are specific rules which they were finalizing, but I'm not sure what it is. So you have to be careful.
Okay, sir. It's
So
not
exercise
like
your judgment.
day-to-day intraday trading, but it's like for my long-term investment.
Long-term investment. Yeah. See, so if you have to be careful to see that you're not using some insider information, and there's a pattern to your purchase. It should be long-term investment. Specific trading. Say, suppose you inspected a bank where you come to know of the account of a particular corporate, and then immediately you start trading in that or investing in that, then things might turn out adversely. So you have to exercise your judgment in that.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Sulva, you can ask your query.
Questions. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We are giving one more chance to Sulva.
Yeah,
I think there is some technical issue, sir.
Tell her to type it out.
Yeah, Sulva, you are audible now. You can ask your query.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. You can ask your query, Sulva.
Okay, sir. Sir, I have completed my post-graduation in 2019. Sorry, in 2021 in MBA IB, International Business, which was majorly related to export and import. Sir, I want to ask that is there any department related to this and RBI in which this information, this MBA degree will be useful?
Yeah, that's the foreign exchange department, which deals with all exports, imports, trade, and foreign investments in India, Indian investments overseas. So there's a department which deals to a large extent with your qualification. But even otherwise, sir, MBA would have trained you in finance. You have finance management, working capital management, investment management. So everything is there. Plus and additional specializations in international trade. So,
okay, sir. Sir, one more question. In interview, what kind of questions can be asked from like IB general international business में sir सब कुछ consider करते हैं तो जबकि ये मतलब majorly export import से related था तो वो कैसे questions मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं
क्या इंटरव्यू में क्या करेंगे कि फ्रॉम द सीवी पहले जनरल क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे आपकी जो अदर आउटसाइड इंटरेस्ट कोई करिकुलर एक्टिविटी तो लिखे हैं प्लस आपके बाद में एजुकेशन क्वालिफिकेशन इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस उसमें क्या सब्जेक्ट्स पढ़े थे तो आप बोल सकते हैं कि इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस एक्सपोर्ट्स इंपोर्ट्स ट्रेड कर रहे थे तो और जब जा रहे हैं तो अप टू डेट रखिए कि नॉलेज रखिए कि आरबीआई तो इंटरनेशनल इन्वेस्ट ट्रेडिंग और फॉरेन एक्सचेंज की सर्कुलर्स निकालते रहते हैं तो पिछले 6 महीने में जो भी सर्कुलर आरबीआई निकाली है ना ऑन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड और फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट्स और इंडियन इन्वेस्टमेंट अब्रॉड वो सब आप अप टू डेट जांच करके रख लीजिए उसके बारे में क्वेश्चंस पूछेंगे
Okay, sir. Sir, you have mentioned data analytics. Mentioned regarding data analytics. Sir, इसमें कौन से टॉपिक मतलब ये कौन सा कोर्स मतलब आप सजेस्ट करेंगे कि करना चाहिए इसके रिगार्डिंग, ये कौन से टॉपिक पे फोकस करना है?
ब्रॉड हेडिंग में है, उसमें वो पाइथन और कुछ C++ और 2-3 टेक्निक्स है वो सिखाते हैं। तो डेटा एनालिटिक्स ही एक कोर्स है और एडटेक कंपनीज में ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज वो कैसे। मगर आप तो MBA किए हैं ना फॉरेन ट्रेड में, तो आपकी तो क्वालिफिकेशन क्वाइट एप्लीकेबल है, तो आपके लिए इतना जरूरी नहीं है कि कोई डेटा एनालिटिक्स कोर्स करने के लिए।
ये सर, पर उसमें ऐसे कुछ मतलब इस चीज से रिलेटेड ज्यादा सिखाया नहीं गया है, C++ से पाइथन के रिगार्डिंग नहीं सिखाया गया है।
अच्छा ना, वो तो मगर आपका ऑलरेडी ये इंटरनेशनल बिजनेस का क्वालिफिकेशन है, तो एडिशनल फाइनेंशियल क्वालिफिकेशन की जरूरत नहीं होगी। अगर चाहते हैं तो कर सकते हैं। अब सर्च कीजिए, काफी है ये कोर्सेरा और
लाइक उडेमी, आई हैव हर्ड अबाउट उडेमी कोर्सेस।
उडेमी है, कोर्सेरा है, उसमें है।
ओके ओके सर। सर ये जैसे कि सर 2 साल का गैप हो गया था बीच में, तो उससे कोई इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा?
2 साल ठीक है, 2 साल से ज्यादा होने से इम्पैक्ट हो सकती है।
क्योंकि सर 2 साल में एक्चुअली कुछ मतलब कुछ दूसरा कुछ ट्रूली हुआ नहीं है।
कुछ किए नहीं थोड़ा बहुत उनको कन्विंस करना पड़ेगा कि 2 साल में ये सब किया हो।
यस सर, वो कुछ काउंटर क्वेश्चंस तो करेंगे ही सर।
अगर गैप है तो मैं सजेस्ट करूंगा कि आप ये कोर्स में एनरोल कीजिए, एक्सेल और डेटा एनालिटिक्स में, तो आप बता सकते हैं कि ये कोर्स भी मैं सप्लीमेंट किया अपना नॉलेज।
यस सर, आई वाज थिंकिंग अबाउट दैट ओनली।
हाँ, कर दीजिए।
सर वन लास्ट क्वेश्चन सर, जैसे कि इंटरव्यू या फिर RBI की जो प्रोफाइल है उसमें मतलब एज अ पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट के केस में कौन सी स्किल्स जो है मतलब जो मोस्टली रिक्वायर्ड रहती है?
आपका कॉन्फिडेंस, क्लियर थिंकिंग, स्ट्रक्चर्ड थिंकिंग, लॉजिकल थिंकिंग, उसकी ज्यादा जरूरत रहती है। इंटरपर्सनल रिलेशंस, वैसे ये सब स्किल्स काफी बिल्डअप हो जाते हैं RBI में।
Okay,
basic appearance, presentation, ability to answer questions in a structured manner, to the point, सब देखते हैं।
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. One Santosh Kumar is putting up his hand.
Santosh, you can raise your hand.
Yeah.
I'm not able to identify where you are. So
carry on in center. Santosh Kumar, you can ask.
No, for that I have to unmute him, sir, and I'm not able to find his name
you're not able to find.
in the participant list. So, Santosh. Yeah, it's P. Santosh Kumar. Yeah, Santosh, you can ask your query. I have unmuted. You have to unmute yourself.
Yes, sir, I have done it.
Yeah, Santosh, you can ask your query.
Okay. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, sir, same question, sir. Actually, sir, I have 4 gap years, and I'm non-IT background, sir. Sir, the courses you have mentioned, that is the data analytics and MS Excel. Sir, apart from that, the IIBF certification will be helpful for the RBI interview.
Yes, definitely. Right.
Sir, which sir, example DBF, MSMEs, digital banking, will these courses will be helpful because
any of them.
Yes.
You can do any of them.
Okay. Sir, sir, and another thing is that, sir, to increase the knowledge in banking and finance, apart from newspaper, the various magazines and newspapers, sir, and any other books apart from Tamal Bandarude, sir, and
books.
ma'am.
So apart from that, there are a lot of foreign books also, foreign authors.
Yes, sir.
Financial crisis, banking. So you can search this list of books on international books on finance and banking.
Yes, sir.
So you can have a search and have a look at that.
Sir, if we mention the certifications for sir during these gap years, if the interviewer asks about the gap years and I say about these certifications, so these sir, the 4 years is a very long gap, sir. So if I tell that I have done these certifications in this to brush up my knowledge, so will it be helpful? And if I give my answer confidently in the exam?
Yeah, that should be helpful. But again, you shouldn't give up 4 years of your productive life just like this, preparing for exams. So that is a
Yes.
bad tendency I see.
Yes.
So you should just try to explain that. But since several people are coming like this, so they also must be used to it by now.
Okay, so thank you very much, guys. काफी अच्छा सेशन था सर के साइड से और आप लोगों ने बहुत अच्छे से पार्टिसिपेट किया एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच सर फॉर गिविंग योर प्रीशियस टाइम शेयरिंग योर नॉलेज एंड एक्सपीरियंस इट विल डेफिनेटली बी fruitful for the aspirants who are preparing for RBI grade B examination. I hope to have such more sessions in future. So guys, if you feel that you have any queries unaddressed, you can mail us on hello@edutap.co.in. So we will be answering all your queries, right? So do not worry, अगर आपके मन में कोई queries हैं और that is still unaddressed, you can mail, right? We will definitely resolve those queries over the mail itself, right? So thank you very much, sir, once again.
Okay, Prakash, thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Bye then. Okay, good
Right,
evening.
right.